Hello, welcome. Another episode in the books. I believe we're on episode 12 today. If you didn't know, we're going to be talking about Machinist.
The
Machinist.
With Christian Bale.
Christian Bale came out in 2004.
I think he just did Batman too, so it's crazy.
I think Batman came after.
Was it after? I thought we.
Well, maybe there's another Batman that came before with
Yeah.
Christian Bale. This one, I just read his little Wikipedia snippet there a little bit, did a little overview. Lost 62 pounds for the film.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
No CGI in that thing.
No CGI. Yeah,
That's bad.
it was pretty gruesome. And to go into the movie, I have to say the movie was pretty gruesome overall. Like, it had some definitely dark tones to it.
Some of them didn't really make sense.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree. But we're going to start off with the trailer. Oops, here we go. Oh, here we go.
Trevor, can I ask you something? Is someone chasing you?
Not yet, but they will when they find out who I am.
Oh, really? Why?
I tell you what, it is interesting, to say the least, to watch the movie and then watch the trailer again. I have to say, the way they mash up a trailer is just spectacular. Like, that does a good job of kind of prefacing the film, for me anyway.
I feel like it still kind of hit it in a way.
Yeah, it hit the whatever it is. Yeah. And I feel like it does a good job of taking you through the journey that he's on. Like, I really felt a lot of the insomnia and paranoia. Like, they did a good job of doing the subtle pieces in the film. Like, whoa, I'm having deja vu here. Am I having insomnia? That's kind of what I was getting. And I think they did a
Some
good
of
job.
it just seemed kind of out there though, because like when he went to that girl's house, where did he actually go? You know, like was it his apartment?
Okay, you want to go even deeper. He went on that ride. What was that? Was that his, like,
That
dream?
was like, no, yeah, I don't know.
Was
I
that
don't
an
know if he was
actual
actually
ride?
there. Yeah, I don't know.
Because that kid didn't exist.
Well, he did exist. The kid did exist, but not at that time. I think you're thinking of.
No, I'm pretty sure that scene he did not exist.
Yeah, not that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the kid did exist.
Oh yeah, he existed. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he was dreaming. Well, that's the thing though. He can't dream because he hasn't slept.
Yeah, which is
So it's
bizarre.
just
You
all
think your
this
body
time?
would just like shut down. You know, you're up for a year, like that scene where he's on the couch and drops his book.
Well, he
like,
really
does
says
he really
doesn't
doze off for a second there. You know,
Yeah,
like
he doesn't really say he doesn't fall asleep. He's just like, I haven't really slept.
yeah.
Which, like, to me, like, sleep is like
Yeah, sure. Maybe
maybe
he
just
didn't get
passed
a good. He didn't get a good night's rest. It
Yeah.
was just constantly like these little micro naps. Like
well, yeah, you always see him like,
yeah,
huh? But that one guy he met didn't make sense to me.
which guy is that?
Like
The Ivan
Yeah, the
Ivan.
like I don't know if it's like it's.
is like alter ego. Yeah. I
But
really
then like
think
he
that's what it
lost his
was.
fingers and then like he had a thumb
Okay.
and a pink.
That's
toe,
that's
like,
where I started to have insomnia myself because spoiler, they have the worker lose his arm. He lost his arm completely. They bring him into the office and they show like the pictures of what happened, and it was just a few fingers that were gone. And I just started like having the insomnia of like, no, but he lost his whole entire arm. How do you give him that like that's where I was like, whoa, dude, I'm along with this journey with you.
I think he cut the fingers and the arm off. It
was his entire arm.
Well, I know, yeah, but in the pictures it shows his entire arm.
If your arm's gone, why take a picture? I mean, I guess you take a picture of it because. But I'm just saying, his alter ego, you notice, has that.
Just the few.
Yeah, the few fingers were gone.
And then it was his toenail or his toe, and his big toe and his pinky toe, as fingers. Which that's the thing I didn't understand.
Okay, yeah, that was a little strange, but that's where the pieces started to not fall together. Like that's where I was kind of like, whoa, wait. Am I having insomnia here? Because I'm watching something completely different. But you're kind of just going along. They almost portray the insomnia really well in the film, and I think that's where.
Well, at first you really think that guy Ivan exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Enough to where he's like, I need to get hit by this. It's like, why would you get hit by it?
I need to find out where this guy lives because he's making my life a living hell right now.
Yeah, but he could have figured out other ways of doing it besides running in front of another car and getting hit. And then
that's later on. I mean, and even the build up to that too. Like, you know something's wrong with him. He's going through some stuff. Maybe he's on some like uppers or something where he's just like losing a bunch of weight. But at the same time, it's like it's stair steps. You know, it's little bunny hops at a time. It's like, okay, he had this incident at work, rips off this guy's arm. Okay, that's kind of believable. You know, you kind of wonder like, okay, I was dozing off. I hit the button and it didn't shut off, and he got his arm ripped off.
No, he didn't say he was dozing. He just got missed. He saw that.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant by dozing off. He dozed off because he saw the guy.
Oh.
He just was like in the zone. And
well, I think doze off like
I know. I said it wrong. I should have said something else more specific. I'm sorry. But it was like he saw that happen, and you still kind of believe like he's not in his own element, but it's still like you're grounded. But eventually, as the movie goes on, you become more like, whoa, I'm out of it. I'm getting out of it. What's going on here? I think they played that perfectly in the film for how much it played into that theme.
Well, yeah, I mean, at first you believe that Ivan guy's real.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and then he worked for, I don't remember his name, the other guy, supposedly the feds came and got him. And he says, I was working for him, and then he's like, well, he came back. Like,
yeah.
What the hell, man? And he's like, oh, well, he ain't gonna tell you the truth. Like, they probably just put him in and then took him back out or something like that. I'm like, I don't think that would happen. Like, especially if it was something, I don't remember what he did, but it was like counterfeiting or something like that.
The guy that was being investigated by the FBI, supposedly. Well, maybe he was investigated by the FBI, but that maybe.
Before.
Well, that's where I'm thinking the insomnia for me even was like, maybe he subtly heard that and he just ran with it in his head.
Well, I think they were friends, so maybe he told him that too. Because you see that picture where they're holding that fish.
Exactly.
But,
that's part of it.
But then when did they catch that fish? Because it could have been that. Because he said that he hasn't slept in over a year.
Yeah. So hindsight.
So the picture was like not within the year, and that fish was in the freezer. That fish.
You don't think that fish that fish scene where he had it in his hand? You don't think that would have been
sooner? I would think it would have been sooner.
Here's what I think happened.
You can't have a fish head in there for over a year and then.
Here's what I think happened. You missed it because he had that shit in his freezer and it was frozen and he didn't pay his utility bills because he couldn't remember. So then his utilities get shut off and his fish thaws out.
No, I know. No, I knew that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you're not gonna keep a fish head in your freezer for even over a year.
But he went through a very traumatic event, so he's just kind of like out of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he sees that hangman on there. He's like, who put that on there?
Yeah.
He was so, like, I don't know what the word is, but like so weirded out. They had to go talk to his landlady.
Yeah.
Like, has anybody been in my apartment?
Did you go in my apartment? One scene I want to bring up in the film that I thought was kind of a miss for me, but I enjoyed it is when he went to confront Miller, the guy that he had his the guy who had his arm cut off. And it was such like this friendly occurrence. Miller was super friendly. Christian Bale's character, Trevor, started off really friendly as well. But then just a second, like halfway through that scene, he just flips a switch. And it was just like,
can I talk to you in private?
Yeah.
And then that's when he
just confronted him, was like...
Even at the beginning of that confrontation, he seemed still kind of pissed off.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. And I think he was trying to confront him because he had that picture of what he thought was like this guy that had tried to like ruin his life or whatever. And...
No, the reason why he thought it was Miller is because it's the hangman thing. Because it had I-L and then E-R. And then it had like all the arms stuff.
So with hindsight... That alter ego was in that picture to him.
That was someone else. That was a different guy in that picture. That wasn't him.
That wasn't Miller?
That was the other guy with the glasses.
Okay, maybe I missed that.
Yeah, you're thinking something. You're thinking the other guy. The other guy that had the glasses.
But didn't he associate that guy with Miller somehow? His alter ego with Miller? Maybe I missed it.
No, the only reason why he thought it was Miller was because of that hangman thing.
Oh yeah, because he spelled out Miller. Like that was his problem.
Because the first time he tried spelling it was mother, and then because it had ER, so he thought it was mother, and then that's when he looked at the pictures, and then I don't know. It was weird though.
Yeah, strange. Yeah, strange film overall.
Well, yeah, like when he goes to that girl on a date with her son. Like, was that
the waitress? Thing? Was that the waitress?
Supposedly the waitress.
Yeah.
Because he goes there again and he's like, where's Maria or whatever?
But I think he's living through that traumatic event that he had through that experience.
Well, but even the server said he's been there a few times. Like, he's been there multiple times. Exactly. So she knew who he was.
So that's what I loved about this film. You couldn't decide what was reality and what was... like fiction, you know what I mean? Like what's going on in his head? Like there's bits that's where I was having some deja vu with like things that were happening. He takes bits and pieces of what really happened and just expands on them in like his insomnia dreams.
Well, you think at the beginning like this guy's like has to be like a spy or something. Cause like, well, just the way it sounds like even in the trailer, like once they find out who I am, then they'll come get me or something, you know? Like, and it's like what? And all he is a machinist. It's like, why would someone, like, what? Who would come up with like attacking you?
Yeah.
Just because you're a machine, like it made no sense.
Yeah, I wish they would expand it on like what actually happened through his like traumatic event. You get it at the end.
Yeah.
You get it at the end, but you don't really get like
the whole story. Because like, what happens with his car? Does he still have
his car get totaled? It didn't seem like it was totaled.
It didn't seem like it was totaled. So like, but was it in a garage? Did he like keep it?
Yeah.
Was he actually driving around?
Well, was there any legal proceedings that happened? Obviously
not.
Yeah, it didn't seem like there was much. Maybe it was enough to like destroy him. Like obviously the instance that happened was pretty mentally traumatizing. But how did it really affect his life? Like he just came into this like I'm just like I've been through this and then boom I'm just.
I think he was dealing with it for a while, and then after a while he just kind of forgot about it, like in his mind, but then he started not eating, not sleeping, and then I'm sure that all those other stuff started coming back to him.
Yeah.
Because I think he was like a mommy boy, you know, because he looked at pictures of him at that, the dock, you know, where they were on the rides and stuff. That made no sense to me.
We got some information here, some insight I can just read real quick on what the take was.
Basically, it's because he hit that kid.
Yeah.
And it was like a hit and run. And he said that people that got hit and run should be...
So, you think he hit that kid and ran?
Yeah, oh no, they showed it. He did. He hit him and then
he just kept going.
Well, he hit him and he did look back and he's like, I think he was like, should I do something?
That's right. And that's what the end portrays, is him just running away.
And then he just runs away.
And he ran away from that whole entire instance. And that's what weighs heavy on him, because that's who's trying. It's like the law is out to get him because...
Well, I don't think that the law was out to get him at that time. Because they didn't know about it until he went to...
So it's all coming together in my head just now, even. There's like bits and pieces where I'm like, all right. But even in my head, I'm like, okay, it all comes together. Because they find out the car that everybody had a description of was him that hit that kid.
Well, see, that's what I don't get is, like, was it hidden? Well, because he doesn't... They don't even look it up until he says he gets hit by that car.
Yeah, exactly. Because he wants to find that
guy.
That guy.
And he gives him the license plate.
But he's so out of it.
Well, did you give this to somebody or did it get stolen? Because this is you. This is
yeah.
He's like, and even he was like, what?
Yeah. I like that. That was good.
One of the parts was when that prostitute, he's like showing her that picture, he was showing her that picture of that guy in the glasses and then that Ian guy. And like, is this your ex-boyfriend? Is this who you've been talking to? You're against me now?
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
And she's like, no, that's you, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And then he's like...
I can't exactly recall when I pieced together that was him. But it was earlier than that scene. I really knew it was him. Like, as soon as... There's probably a scene before that where I'm like, yeah, that's really him. And it kind of blew it out of the water for me. I was just like, it made me kind of enjoy it a little less because I was really hoping that would have been something other than his... I'm trying to think what
would happen before that.
Yeah. I don't really recall.
I know the cops came to his apartment looking for him for some reason. Because, I don't know, because his landlady just, complained about that his apartment was leaking at one point because he does forget to pay the... He wrote a note to himself because he was so and it's like, where did you put it?
This is like what's really crazy about this is it's like I mean, just that post-traumatic experience, and then added with it it's like the outcome, the guilt.
I think exactly just got to him so much that he finally just like...
It was the perfect amount of darkness. There was some violence in it and there were some sketchy parts, but overall, like, for me, that was like the perfect amount of darkness that I want to see.
When they went in that tunnel on Route 66, that haunted house thing, when he's with that kid, I'm like, is that something that happened? Is this something that happened with this kid? Like, I didn't know if like his head get cut off or something bad. Like, I was just like waiting for something worse to happen than having a seizure. I mean, I was kind of glad that he has. I mean, it's a bad thing to have a seizure, but like, it was better than him getting...
But even that scene there, did that actually happen? Like, I really think that was all in his head.
Well,
like
even then, when he was going in that tunnel, when he's like, he had two choices. He either go right or left. He's like, go the right way, go the right way. Because I think that was metaphor of do the right thing.
And he didn't do the right thing, and he went down the other path.
Because when you're watching him going into that tunnel, it like starts turning into that tunnel where he was
leaving. Where he can recall another deja vu moment of like, okay, I recall this happening, and it's like he's reliving that same traumatic experience over and over and over and over.
Somewhat.
Even to where he kind of hoarded all his stuff that his mother passed away, and he's keeping on to that stuff too, just to maybe hold on to those moments a little longer.
That's why I thought it was weird, because you see him in that girl's apartment, but you never see him leaving it.
Yeah.
At all. Like that, I don't remember her name. The server lady. Maria.
Yep, Maria.
He goes to her apartment because she wants him to like come up. They don't show the sun after that either. Like right before he goes up there, they don't show the sun.
Yeah. He's
in her apartment, but then they never show him leaving.
Yep.
Like why did he leave? Like, he didn't even give an excuse. Like, all of a sudden he's just gone. Because he saw the Mother's Day card and he saw the letters were the same.
Yeah.
So I think he was actually in his apartment. Because a lot of the stuff that was in Maria's apartment was in his apartment.
He was
like
just
that glass bowl.
He was just imagining that. He was basically imagining that whole entire experience.
I don't know. Because even the champagne doesn't make sense. Like, why would you? Like, did he have the champagne the whole entire time?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, like, to me, he seems like he's not really an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because even when he goes to the bar, he doesn't really drink anything.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things to unpack in this film. A lot of things to.
Well, at first I thought that Maria girl was
about.
When he goes to the airport. I thought she was a person on the sign or something.
If you had this kind of experience happen to you, do you think like?
I don't think that would happen.
I mean, hindsight, you could probably say like, I'm gonna do the right thing. I'm not gonna hit and run. I'm not gonna do that. But put yourself in the guy's shoes, where it's like, oh shit, I just hit this kid because I wanted to light my cigarette. Do you stop and face the consequences, or do you bolt?
But he could have got out and then he could have saved his life for all he knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe that kid did survive. They didn't really say that he died.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was a hit and run.
Yep.
So, I mean, the kid could be still alive for all we know.
Yeah, maybe that scene did play out with the kid, Maybe that is his kid. He fully recovered and he's going down this Route 666 with him,
Because, I mean, he goes to jail, but, I mean, you can still go to jail for getting hit and run, but, I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully the kid survived. I mean,
you hope, and maybe that's what they wanted to portray. You just leave it up to your imagination for what happened. There's a lot to be left up to your imagination in this film, I have to say. It was
because when he hits a kid, all it seems like it hits his hood, and then later on in the movie you see his window, like,
his windshield. So
it's like, did he hit the hood and then the windshield?
Yeah, yeah.
If that was the case, then he'd probably be dead. But that's not what happened.
What do you think happened?
I think he did hit him.
He hit him and killed him?
I mean, he could have killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, that kid's like, what, 8, 9, maybe 10? I mean, I don't know how old he was supposed to be.
I'm not familiar.
I know the girl, the Maria girl, was actually his mom, and that's who he saw chasing after her to, like, pick him off the road. But, yeah, it's kind of hard to really determine if, I mean, like you said, you can still determine as him making it.
Shit. Okay. So, next thing, gave our input. Now we get to decide if we liked it or not. How did we decide what the format is?
I think we had to give our, like, what we liked, what was our best, what we liked, like, the best.
Alright, what'd you like the best?
Yeah, that's kind of tough. I think it was a realization that, he figured out that he did something wrong, and he turned himself in, like, at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, in a weird way, he kind of turned himself in. I agree. There wasn't one particular scene that I liked. It's the whole thing that kind of drew me in. I mean, there was definitely scenes I didn't like, but without the whole picture, it's just kind of a weird film. But you get the whole thing, it's just kind of magical.
Well, yeah, like, his work just happens to not follow OSHA rules. So then the guy doesn't do a lockout, tag out, and then he's sitting there, he accidentally presses the machine. So then he cuts his arm off.
Yeah.
Like, no one did, like, everyone was there trying to pull his arm off.
What makes it The Machinist, is just that scene there. It was just like, all right, he works as a machinist. Okay, well.
Yeah, it looked like he does more like gears.
But it's more about the traumatic experience that he had. And The Machinist is just like a distraction to what, you just kind of, it's almost like you're expecting from the title it to be something different than it actually is.
I mean,
without watching the trailer, I would have never.
That's why I thought he was like a spy or something.
Yeah.
Like, I thought maybe a machinist was like his
alter ego.
Yeah, undercover.
His undercover job.
or something, because it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because they're like, once they find out who I am, they'll come get me, and it's like, who's gonna come get you?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say one scene that I didn't like so much were some of the just in between scenes. Maybe some of them had a little too much dialogue at times.
With him and that prostitute, like a lot of that didn't need to really be.
I mean, you kind of have to build up some of that as well. It didn't. Yeah, some of that didn't need to happen.
A lot of it didn't need to happen.
But I like the scene where he starts to twist her story in a way, like in his head. It didn't happen the way he portrayed it.
The prostitutes? Or?
Yeah. Stevie, whatever her name is. Yeah. So she's on the phone with somebody else, what he thinks is like another person. Yeah. But that was like his alter ego.
Yeah, he thought it was Ian.
Yeah.
But I wonder who she was actually on the phone with then, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, he did portray her as like, even in the car, he saw him, and then all of a sudden he sees a blonde, and he's like, is that Stevie? And then after he sees that picture of that guy, or what he thinks is that guy, he's like, now it's coming together.
So much of this film is how you could live just a normal life. For me, if I reflect on it a little bit, you live such a normal life and have this one experience change the trajectory of your life into something that's just hard to watch. You know what I mean? Like, just that one experience. Before, you see the before and after. Before kind of scene of him rolling up, or the scenes where he actually hits the kid, where he looks somewhat normal weight, normal looking guy, and then he progressed over the span of a year into 129 pound.
I think it was less than that. I think at one point he was like 114 or 19 or something.
Yeah, so I mean it was just that kind of struck me a little bit.
I mean,
it affected me, I guess, in a way.
You could tell he wasn't eating, or when he did. There was only like once in a while, like only time he really ate was when he went to the airport, and he would always have a pie. I think it was like coffee or something. Like that. That was it. Like, and other than that one time when he went to eat at the one girl's house, was the only time. Stevie's house is the only time he really ate real food, I think.
Yeah.
Well, she seemed, generally, I think she did really.
What do you overall take from the film?
You do the crime, you do the time. Yeah. Somehow, some way, it's come to haunt you. So it's better off.
Yeah, better fess up and get it over with.
It's better to fess up and
than
tell the
to
truth.
Starve yourself and live out some insomnia before you actually.
I mean, he could have died.
Yeah.
I mean, the way malnutrition that he wasn't getting, the sleep he wasn't getting. There's a lot of stuff that could happen with that.
Okay.
What was your favorite part?
My favorite part? I kind of said it earlier. It was kind of like everything already together. Like everything that was together. The whole film, the story of it. Man, if I had to pick one part.
I know it's kind of tough.
I would say when things start to spin around, the climax of the film drew me in.
Like, so towards kind of the end.
Yeah. Like probably about that 1 hour mark. When everything starts to unfold.
Like he
the story gets a little... Well, just before that, I think. Before he figures out that it's him. Like, he's still trying to figure out who this Ivan guy is.
Which was kind of weird because he killed him. Like, when Ivan took him up to his
but that's one of those, like, did it really happen type of things.
No, I didn't. Because he went to this apartment. He's like, where's the kid at? And Ivan guy looks in the bathtub.
Well, that's what makes this film so hard to discuss, because you don't know what's real and what's
I don't
not
think
real.
It was.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that part
altogether
was real.
Yeah. Well, it was and it wasn't. Like, he thought that Ivan took that kid to his apartment to kill him.
The more...
But, like, why?
The better way to describe it would be what's in his head and what's actually happening.
That was in his head.
That was in his head.
Yeah. Except for going up to his apartment. I think that was real.
Yeah.
I think going to his apartment was real, but everything else was in his head.
Yeah.
Like, Ivan going to his apartment, Ivan taking the kid to his apartment, Ivan, like, putting him in the bathtub.
You think all that was real?
No, I think that was
fake.
it
was all fake, yeah.
I'm just saying him going into his apartment was real.
Yeah.
Like, him being in the bathroom was probably real.
Yep.
But like when he was standing over Ivan's dead body after he just cut his throat, I think that was fake.
That was fake. Yeah, I agree. I think we're on the same page then.
Which is kind of weird because they still showed him even after he opened the curtain, you know?
Yep.
Or, was it after that? Like, he looked back and then Ivan was gone? Or was Ivan still there? No, Ivan was still there. Because he rolled him up and then he tossed him off the dock. Remember?
But as soon as that thing unrolls, he's gone.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it's like...
Well, yeah, that was at the beginning, too.
What's going on here? Yeah.
Well, yeah, you see a body. You think that'd be heavy in general, though. A rug by itself is pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched your one rug.
Yeah.
The
one right here.
Yeah, the one right here. That thing's heavy by itself.
It is, let alone, like, having a
body
in it.
Yeah, and that guy, you know, the Ivan guy is probably, like, 280, you know, or something.
Yeah.
There's no way he's picking up a dead body and a rug by himself.
Exactly.
That's, like, probably...
Especially when he's 114 pounds or whatever he got, you know, whatever he is. He's barely picking up the rug. That's where another thing was, like, the scene where he's running away from the cops and he lifts up that grate. I'm like, there's no way. They show him kind of struggling a little bit, but I was like, oh, man, he's 114 pounds. You really think he's going to lift that big-ass heavy grate off the ground like that?
I mean, people do get, you know, godly strength if something happens.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when there's people in a car trapped, people get that strength out of nowhere to save their life.
So we're about 30 minutes into this. We're going to go ahead and give our rating and then go into what was on Rotten Tomatoes as far as the tomato score. I don't recall if you went first or I went first, but I can go first this time if you don't mind.
Yeah, you can go first. I don't remember.
Out of 5 movie rules, I'm going to give this one a solid 4.2. I'm not going to rate it above the other films that I really enjoy. Like, my enjoyability was still high. I really enjoyed this film. But overall, I think there was room for improvement. If they would have maybe tightened up more of the loose ends at the end, I would have enjoyed it a little more. But
yeah, like they didn't.
I kind of
like what he did.
I kind of like the mystery of it too as well. I'm at a mix of like.
There's certain things.
I like to have
some mystery,
some structure in my head after I finish a film. Like I can piece it all together. This one, even as we're talking about it, I'm still piecing stuff together from it. I'm still trying to figure out what's all kind of transpiring. What's real, what's not. Yeah. So I'm going to go with the 4.2.
Well, like the Pier thing, I think he went with his mom. And I think the enjoyment of him when he was a little kid with his mom is what brought him...
Just even talking about that, do you think he killed his mom?
No. I don't think he killed his mom.
But his mom is dead in the film.
His mom is dead in the film. But I think she passed away from something.
You don't know though. You don't know though. He's telling these things in his head. I don't think so either.
Because when he killed that kid, you could see in his face like he was devastated.
Yeah.
But like I don't think he. I think he realized what he did, but like he didn't want to get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
It's like what you know. It's like you said. Like if that happened to you, what would you do? Like would you turn around and go back?
Would you do the right thing?
I would have went back.
Oh, you say you would go back, but you're not in that situation.
No, I would still go back. I would.
I would like to think that I would too. I will say I would like to think that I would do the right thing and not do a hit and run. I think most people that do a hit and run.
Maybe that's what he thought too. Like maybe he thought at some point that he would never do that, and then.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that though. I mean. Do you think there's people out there that I would think if an accident were to happen, the people that do hit and run, I think there's just a sense of like, I can just get away with it if I just run away.
Well, there's people that hit cars all the time,
it's almost like
body, you know.
It's almost like a greed aspect. It's like, oh, do I really fess up and like, oh,
I have to pay all this money.
Have to pay all this money, or maybe I can just get away with it. You know what I mean? Like, how many people are around? How many people can I get? What are the eyewitnesses thinking?
Obviously, he got away with it because there was quite a few people that were around.
Yeah,
that I remember seeing.
But that's why he probably ditched the car.
He could, yeah.
That's why he ditched the car.
But they never said what happens to that car.
They don't, but they do know that it is his.
Yeah, and that was after he got hit by someone else that report that license plate.
Yeah,
which I thought was kind of funny. And once the guy's like, "That's your car," and then he's like, and then he just ran away. It's like, why are you running, dude? I would be like, yeah, maybe it got stolen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. It just made no sense. Or my lights I mean, my license plate has got stolen twice this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have said that for all we know.
Yeah, I know. There's so many. Like, I like having that structure when the movie's done. For this, it takes a while to unpack, like I said. But what do you think you're gonna give it?
I might be in that 3.7 range.
3.7. Wow, that's pretty low. You did not enjoy it.
I mean,
well, that's still pretty high, but you didn't enjoy it as some other of the other films.
Yeah, it's
like you definitely rated that at the bottom of the pack. The only one
Chum Scrubber
and War Dog you gave it, and Superbad.
Yeah, I mean, is this a movie I'm gonna watch again? Probably not.
I'd agree. I would say
like the other movies I've watched.
If there's other people that want to watch it, I think I would watch it with other people just to like get their aspect and see how they portray the film.
Yeah, if someone else came up to me and like,
do you want to watch this film?
Yeah, even if you would be like, hey, you want to watch this film with me? Then I'd probably watch it.
Yeah.
Other than that,
I'm not gonna watch it by myself.
That's
again.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. It doesn't have much more replayability for me.
Like Ace Ventura, I can watch a million times.
Yeah, yeah. I think comedies have a special place though. Like, I mean, when you're watching a psychological thriller, you're watching it to kind of just. You're watching it to enjoy it during it. Like, once you know it, then it's like, I can't watch it anymore.
Well, even like Christmas movie, I can watch the same one at least every Christmas.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know.
This one I wouldn't watch.
I've
seen it at least 2 times now, and this is the second time I watched it. Probably.
But with that, let's roll into.
Let's get real and see what the critics.
Let's reel this out and see what the critics actually think. We're just amateurs, I loosely amateurs.
You were close on some of them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be closer. Honestly, I think just given
Christian
Bale, the effort he put into this film.
I'm not saying what he did was a good job.
Like but you just like it's just straight enjoyability. You don't think you didn't enjoy it as much. 77%. So I would say actually that's right in between you and me as far as rating goes.
Yeah, for the
what critics. Is that? That's like a 3.85. So it's literally just a little bit above you.
Yeah.
And my rating is more towards what the audience scored. 83% was the audience score. Yeah, very interesting. Interesting. I think we should read some of the critics. Let's read one good review and then one bad review. So one good one. Until now, Bale's screen persona has been defined by graceful athleticism. Here his physicality is repellent. Yet he carries the occasionally cheeky plot of Scott Kosar unsettling screenplay to a resonant finish. I like that review. I can't write that eloquently, so good on her for writing that. She's a top critic. Another top critic who didn't like it. This is shortly after the film came out. Some people will pick up the clues early in The Machinist and some won't. I got some, not all, but I remained unengaged throughout, largely because of the film's deliberateness, which feels like a lack of passion. I can get where that guy's coming from. He remained unengaged, and there were some parts where I was really unengaged, some of the slower parts, and I can kind of resonate with him a little bit. But overall, I think those were few and far between. There's probably some moments where I'm like, all right, let's pick up the pace a little bit here. I mean, this is kind of a long film. Can we speed things up a little bit?
Yeah, there's certain parts I felt like didn't really need to happen.
Yeah.
Like him with the prostitute, like some of those, I just felt like a lot of those didn't need to happen.
I think that really dove into the story a little bit. Like him being with that prostitute was probably him trying to just step away from this traumatic experience a little bit.
Or just call her Stevie.
Stevie, yeah, Stevie. Like her interaction with him, he just kind of fell into this underbelly of society. I think just from this one experience, he just doesn't want to associate with anybody. His coworkers are all like, dude, you used to come and play cards with us all the time. And then after this experience, he goes, no, I'm not gonna do that with you anymore. I'm not gonna go out and experience it. You know, it's just like another one of those pieces of the puzzle. You know, this guy could probably portray some of those pieces as like unengaging. But every little piece of this film has like this little tie to the entire picture. You just try to piece all these little pieces together.
Well, there's even like a part where when he does talk to the people he works with, and then that black guy comes up to him and he's like, "We don't want you here. Why don't you just go and leave?"
Yeah, because
he's like, "I'm not going nowhere."
I think because it was him just being unengaged with his coworkers.
Well,
just kind of.
Well, they thought he was accident prone too after.
Yeah, after the accident, and him just out of it, and everybody there lived with him through that experience. You know what I mean? They know him before, and now they know him after as being just
but then once he got on the other machine, and then he thought someone tripped the breaker on him, and then he almost got his arm cut off. He was sitting there like pushing people around, and they didn't seem like they were really that mad at him.
Yeah, because he thinks there's this vendetta against him.
Well, yeah,
he
that's
thinks,
what I'm saying.
like,
But like
people are
everybody
out
was
to get him.
pretty cool. They were all chill about it.
Like the whole time, he's on edge because he thinks the police are gonna bash through his door at any minute and take him away for killing this kid. Like,
well, I don't think he knew that at the time.
What do you mean?
The cops were never. I don't think he. I think he thought. I don't know who he thought.
I really
was
think
after
the
him.
bigger picture is him just living.
That Ivan was out to get him, I think, or something.
Yeah,
like,
maybe. I mean, that's just like.
He was very paranoid, but I don't think it was about. I think it was about the cops, but like it wasn't about the cops at the beginning.
I think Ivan was just a metaphor for that guilt.
No,
It was
yeah,
like,
because he wore that jacket, he wore those boots. Remember at one point he was with Stevie.
Yeah.
He sees those boots in the closet, which wants that Ian or whoever Ian or whatever.
So him himself is trying to distance himself from that person. He's just like, I'm not that person. I'm not that person that would hit and run. And even in there was a scene where, like, I want to say it was Stevie was like, you know, those people that hit and run, somebody should hang those people. Even that dialogue there portrays into all the sticky notes with the hangman symbols. I'm like, wow, well done with doing that. Like, you don't recognize it.
She said something else too. That he's like, wherever I heard that someone else said that.
Yeah, and there was a couple deja vu moments like that. Like, I don't know if he lives that outside of his brain into the reality, and then he kind of takes those same experiences and experiences the deja vu in his head to the point where it's
Maria,
different. You know what I mean? Like, not, and that's not Maria. That's just like.
Well, I know, but there was like, especially like when he went to the pier with that Maria and then her son. Like, that was a deja vu of him and his mom going to the park because he enjoyed it when he was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
But then
and he's taking that picture and he kind of just does a double take and he's like, oh,
he sees
himself there in a way. Maybe.
I think he kind of saw himself back in the past, and that's what he kind of says too. And I think he did feel bad because you can see it towards the end when you see that mom and the boy crossing the street. But that's another thing. How do you know their names? Or was that just names he came up with? Like, was that actually her name?
Yeah.
What was the son's name?
I don't recall the son's name either. I don't recall.
But, like, he knew the names, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like, he either made them up or he felt so bad that he remembered the mom's name and the kid's name. Because I'm sure if the kid did pass away, there was probably an obituary or something, you know?
Exactly.
I'm trying to think what the kid's freaking name is now. It's about the crap out of me. I'll remember after this. Don't worry, I'll remember after the show, probably. Just come to me.
I think we end it there. We've got about 45 minutes in, so if there's we didn't get any dialogue from anybody else, so if you're out there, give us a little bump in the little comments there, see what you think about it. I'd love to get some other opinions on how this film affected you. Maybe it didn't. Maybe you're like, yeah, do something else. Recommend another film to us. Maybe we'll watch it. And I like doing these. Any other takes from your end that you want to elaborate on?
I mean, not really. I don't think.
I was surprised that you didn't enjoy it as much as I thought you were gonna enjoy it. Maybe I've said that before.
I mean, yeah, you said that a few times. I mean, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, it's not a movie I would go out of my way. Like Ghostbusters, I'll rewatch over and over. Ghostbusters 2, I'll watch over and over. Like this movie, I just wouldn't watch again. Like I've seen Ace Ventura like a billion times.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, this movie I've watched literally 2 times.
You've watched it 2 times?
Yeah, I watched it when it first came, about the time it came out.
Really?
And I don't remember it at all. Yeah. Like I didn't remember it though. Like I knew, like I knew stuff happened, but like I just didn't remember.
Yeah, maybe it was just background noise for you or something.
No, I mean I watched it, but like I wasn't just not that involved in it. Sure. Because I didn't remember like when I was rewatching, I was like I remember some of the scenes that happened. Like that kid that right before they went in the, I remembered all that until he went in that 666, and I'm like,
I don't remember.
Yeah, I was like, is something gonna happen to that kid?
Yeah.
Like I don't remember. Like
yeah, it was all fresh for me. I remember when this film first came out. I remember the media.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's pretty fresh because.
Well, like, I just remember Christian Bale in the media about his preparation for that role. Like,
yeah, I remember.
It was a big news story, I think, just because of the weight that he lost for this film, and that's a huge commitment as an actor too, to lose all that weight just for that role.
Yeah, well, and it was his choice too. Like they're like, we can use CGI, and he's like, no, I want to.
No, I'm gonna starve myself and lose like 60 pounds.
It's not like they forced him to do this.
That's some huge dedication to a film, like the art of it.
Yeah, that's on him too, because he's the one that's like, I'll do this for your film.
The film didn't have that much of a budget either. We're talking like a $5 million budget. And I can kind of see how there wasn't too many wide angles. And I can definitely tell some of the wide angles were fabricated in a way.
I guess
the big shot where he's walking out of the building and there's a storm in the background. I don't think that storm actually happened. They kind of pieced everything together there.
What story?
It was at the beginning before he met Ivan. So he's leaving to go get a cigarette break.
Oh, outside his shop.
And here's another take I'm going to take on the movie here. I think that really triggered his recollection of that traumatic event, because that's when Ivan came to be. Right? So he goes out to have a cigarette break.
Yeah, but the rain never affected him when he hit the kid.
It's not about the rain though. It's about the cigarette, the lighter.
Oh yeah.
So it's about the lighter. He's in there. He has a cigarette in his mouth. Soon as he pushes that cigarette lighter in, boom, Ivan's right there.
Yep.
So that's kind of like, whoa, the alter ego. Whoa, this is. Oh shoot! That a traumatic event is coming back. Oh my god! You know.
But you think that he? Well, I guess he was trying his lighter, and his lighter wouldn't work.
Yep.
So maybe that's what forced him to use the lighter.
It's another one of those little puzzle pieces that gets shoved into the whole entire story. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. But I didn't put it as high as some of my other films that I liked better.
What did you give it?
4.2. 4.2. I think that's fair for this film, given the whole picture. But I think that'll do. Until next time, we'll get another movie set up, and we'll do this again.
Keep it extra real.
Keep it real.